The race for speakership.
The rules make this office competed for by everybody.
Who will take the mantle of the 12th Parliament?
So the office is available to all the 529 new MPs.
The changing political wind in Acholi sub-region.
Brought in a new young blood that I believe will do something great.
What will define the future of Acholi politics? NBS confirms that a note is circulating on social media alleging that the UPDF has formally designated NUP is fake. And the good news is, the internet is fully restored in Uganda.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Victoria Sibia, Samson Kasumba and Kanari Mugume.
As Parliament looks for its next leaders, the leadership here as far as the anchoring team is firmly in place. So let's rely on it. As the NRM marks 40 years since taking power, President Yoweri Museveni has dismissed critics who argue that his administration has registered no achievements. He says Uganda has made significant progress in the economy and key development sectors. Museveni also expressed concern over what he described as a low voter return of 8 million, blaming opposition intimidation and faulting the police for inaction. The president was later awarded a medal in recognition for his contribution to the country alongside other recipients.
Celebrations got underway at Kololo Independence Grounds as invited guests arrived to mark 40 years since the NRM took power on 26 January 1986 following a 5-year guerrilla war. The event drew government officials, foreign diplomats, religious leaders, veterans of the liberation struggle, civil servants, NRM leaders and other dignitaries. At around 10:30 a.m., the chief guest, President Yoweri Museveni, arrived at Kololo Independence Grounds and was received by party and security leaders before the national anthem was played. In line with tradition, the president inspected a guard of honor from the UPDF, police, Uganda prisons and the Wildlife Authority ahead of performances by cultural and security formations. Addressing the gathering, President Museveni said Uganda was in a dire state when the NRM assumed power, but has since registered significant transformation across key sectors, including agriculture, citing increased production of coffee, bananas and other crops. He also pointed to growth in manufacturing, technology and tourism, saying the progress achieved should be evident. Museveni said Uganda's economy is growing at about 7%, adding that roughly 60% of goods sold in supermarkets are now locally manufactured. He noted that this share is expected to rise further with the start of oil production later this year.
In the past, it was 100% imported. We are growing at 7% now.
Bikula kubitundu musanvu kuchikumi wetuogerera wano.
With the oil, we are going to go into double digits.
The president said that at independence, only 9% of Ugandans were engaged in income-generating activities compared to about 70% today, attributing this to government poverty alleviation programs such as Operation Wealth Creation and the Parish Development Model, which he said will receive additional funding.
Therefore, that's why we are going to put emphasis on PDM, enough PDM money to reach all the homesteads.
Museveni expressed concern over what he described as a low voter turnout, saying that despite a large number of registered NRM members, only 8 million votes were recorded.
So where are my 6 million votes? I hear the opposition wasting time talking nonsense. You really, if you don't know Uganda, you can waste your time. They are lucky because all my supporters did not turn up. If they are turned up, there will be no opposition in Uganda.
He blamed this intimidation by opposition groups and internal party conflicts.
The opposition threatening violence and try. The other one is misbehavior by the NRM leaders themselves. Entaro, bringing wars among our people.
The president questioned the police's response, accusing them of watching as opposition actors allegedly use hate speech and threats, including claims that voters' identities were being tracked, which he said scared some supporters away from polling stations. He warned that action would be taken.
Why should you attack anybody because of the elections? What right do you have to even use harsh words? You have no right to say that. Why would the police hear this and keep quiet?
President Museveni was later awarded a Medal of Honor in recognition of his service to the country. 30 other individuals, including Liberation War veterans and public servants, were honored for their contribution to national development.
Very nice country, humble peoples, and very, very opportunities in this country. This country is very secure. This country has no any problems like this in other countries.
Creating jobs and empowering in different fields.
Interesting comments about this country. Now, the National Resistance Movement and the veterans of the NRA Bush War say they are glad their leadership has fulfilled the promise of fundamental change, insisting that the military has not turned into bandits like the former. But the party spokesperson says they are witnessing some of the actions that led to the Bush War, like vote rigging, returning to haunt multi-party.
Days after securing a 7th term in office with a 71% historical win, the National Resistance Movement has commemorated its 40th liberation anniversary since it captured power in 1986. These comes at the backdrop of fundamental change promise re-echoing in the minds of termed liberators, with a population 70% youthful that has no account of the liberation events. Amid the celebrators are some of the war veterans recounting their wish for fundamental change, saying the journey has been progressive and that the sacrifice was worth it.
And I thank God for some of us who are alive, but I also want to say that those who died in the struggle did die in vain, because what they expected of us to do, we have achieved. We didn't betray them. We didn't become a bandit army that was the case before.
But as the party maintains its hold on power without change of guard over the years, there has been criticism of what democracy has become, with some suggesting that promised democracy is now a shadow of its former self. Emmanuel Dombo, the spokesperson of the ruling party, acknowledges there are practices that have come back to haunt the NRM.
There are many similarities between what has happened now and what happened in 1980 elections, where we have the players in the election process who may not be conforming to the provisions of the law, either because the organizers themselves deliberately do it, or the participants refusing to abide by the law as provided in the law book.
However, Kanumwes J explains that democracy has come with a cost of indisciplined practices in which groups operating legally are misusing freedoms to cause chaos and endanger sovereignty.
Me, I think in some sectors or political players, they have misused this peace and stability to want to cause chaos and disharmony in a disciplined society that we are trying to build. And that's what causes the so-called conflict.
With many explaining the next term of Museveni's presidency as one likely to be with more tightened grip on power, which many say would lead to eroded space of criticism, Emmanuel Dombo confirms this is a promise his president-elect has sounded.
It is really no criticism, but when we were in Rwaktura and the president was talking to the nation, he said that he's going to be very harsh this time. Not only harsh the opposition, but also harsh the members of the government who indulge in corruption, members who falsify documents.
As NRM embarks on its next season of ruling over Ugandan citizens, the political future of many is the uncertainty of the opposition space with questionable space for political growth. Yet the ruling National Resistance Movement continues to preach the gospel of protecting the gains.
We're now joined by veteran politician and NRM member Captain Edward Francis Babu to weigh in on what stands tall of the NRM over the years. Captain, let's just take ourselves back in time to the days of the Oliver Zizingas, the Captain Abe Mukwayas, the days when you were young people. Now we are here. What stands tall after 40 years of the NRM? Come on, let me ask that again. There were days when yourselves, the Abe Mukwayas, the Oliver Zizingas, were still young people. The Kahindo Tafires were in their 20s. And now you are old and seen things. What's the difference between then and now? And what really stands tall? Connection and get back to Captain Edward Francis Babu in a bit. But for now, President Yoweri Museveni has asked the Supreme Court to dismiss a presidential election petition filed by former candidate Robert Kasibante, and he is challenging the outcome of the 2026 presidential election. In his defense filed today, the president-elect insists that the January 15 polls were conducted in accordance with the Constitution and electoral laws of the land, dismissing allegations of widespread irregularities, violence and abuse of state power.
President-elect Yoweri Museveni's legal team, Anthony Vazira and Usama Sebufu, filed his defense and supporting affidavits to the Supreme Court. In the documents, Museveni argues that the petition fails to meet the legal threshold under Article 104 of the Constitution on the Presidential Elections Act, insisting that any alleged non-compliance by the Electoral Commission did not substantially affect the results. He notes that he was declared winner after polling 71.65% of the valid votes cast, and distances himself from the management of the election, which he says falls entirely under the constitutional mandate of the Commission. Museveni also rejects claims that he influenced the Commission or benefited from the deployment of security forces during the campaign and polling period. He says police and the army were deployed to maintain law and order and enforce electoral guidelines impartially. He further dismisses allegations of misuse of government resources, bribery and inducement, insisting no such acts were committed by him or his agents with his knowledge or consent. The president has also asked courts to strike out several paragraphs of the petition, arguing that some allegations are vague, speculative, and fall outside the Supreme Court's jurisdiction in a presidential election petition. He maintains that the reliefs sought by Kasibante are not remedies available under the Presidential Elections Act and has asked courts to dismiss the petition with costs. Museveni's lawyers say they cannot delve into the substance of the case since it is before court, but confirmed that his response and affidavits have been filed.
Commenting about it will amount to sub judice. So, but briefly we can tell you that we have filed the first respondent's answer to the petition. The first respondent is His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. So we filed his answer to the petition as required by law, and we have denied the allegations in the petition. And we have prayed for its dismissal with costs.
The Supreme Court is expected to issue directions on the hearing of the petition in the coming days.
We've just re-established connection with Captain Edward Francis Babu, who is for us. Captain, even as a little boy, I could remember the days when yourselves, the Serwanga Rwangas were here, the Oliver Zizingas, the Captain Edward Francis, the Captain Abe Mukwaya, when you are just shown up on these shows, and now even us who were kids are grown up, and even you grown up a little more. What has stood tall and significant during the 40 years?
Thank you very much. Time does fly, doesn't it? And I'm happy that you have grown up too. The whole point is very, very simple. There has been a lot of water that has gone under the bridge, and a lot of things have happened, and the country has also changed. At the time, we were only 12 million. Today, we are 46 million. There are more people today than there were then. There are many things that have changed. Yes, I agree. The revolution was started because of many things that had happened earlier on, and a lot of people joined that revolution. The people who joined that revolution because of our country, Uganda, because they wanted it to become a model state, if possible. And they did give their part, and they actually volunteered. Some of them lost their brothers and sisters. Some people lost everything. But we're here now, 40 years later.
Captain, of course, everyone would understand that the spirit from the bush was a very good spirit. Could one argue that the vulgarities of statecraft and staying in power have, in a certain sense, consumed that good spirit?
No, the history of our country and us all as Ugandans are part of those 40 years. A lot of people tend to think it is a one-sided story. It is not. It is a story for all of us. In fact, the bad manners, the bad behavior, the indiscipline, everything that has come with the 40 years needs to be reviewed very carefully and, if possible, dismantled. We need to change this country and take it where we want it to be. And in fact, we don't only need to take it, we need even a prayer. We need to have peace. We need to think about our country. In fact, if our country was to accuse us, we should be ashamed to our country, our mother country. In other words, we have been misusing our country. Basically, that's what it is.
Is the biggest challenge the leadership or the led? Because no one has ever asked anybody to throw plastic papers everywhere. At least I've never had a leader doing that. Is the issue the leaders, or is it the led that just also don't appreciate what needs to be done? The question I'm asking here is the issue the leadership, or is it also a fault of the led, in your opinion? Well, we still lost a connection there. I'd have really wanted to hear his take on that particular one. But we'll go back maybe and try to find out what that answer is. Maybe you can tell us on social media what you think about that. Now, opposition politicians have disparaged what they describe as continued harassment under the National Resistance Movement's 40 years at the helm. Many now argue reorganizing and reorganizations and rebuilding the foundations of the opposition may be necessary, and the struggle for change may remain out of reach if that is not done. Political observers, however, question whether the opposition can make meaningful progress as long as the NRM remains firmly in control.
Over the past 40 years, several political figures have emerged in the attempts to challenge the NRM's long hold on power. However, many of these efforts have ended in setbacks, arrests, imprisonment, or political isolation. The most recent cases include retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye and other activists who are currently in detention, while others are in hiding.
Most of our key actors are incarcerated. Most of our actors have even failed to get habeas corpus.
Opposition leaders and activists decry suffering and unequal political space in Uganda's political terrain under the NRM's long rule.
And that's why this time around, it's just 24%, dampening all the hopes that anything can come out of electoral processes.
While some accuse the NRM of deliberately blocking opposition growth, others believe internal weaknesses and divisions within the opposition ranks have contributed to their stagnation.
The opposition leadership is mostly good at politically killing and stifling its role.
Many have now joined the opposition, have appreciated what we used to tell them, by then.
The question of unity, strategy and resilience continues to dominate opposition discourse as leaders search for what they believe is missing link needed to sustain their political survival and push for leadership change.
We need to sit in one house as leaders in the opposition, reflect on what has gone wrong, talk openly against each other in a closed door meeting.
Even the people on Twitter hooks, Ugandans, they don't know what's going to happen. So there is a sense of hopelessness. They don't know what's going to happen next. It's the reason I implore Ugandans to invoke the provisions of Article 3.
The opposition, basically, we have no building stones or bricks to start on. We're on ground zero. We must rebuild, just as the NRM.
Political analyst Dr. John Paul Kasuja says the opposition should be credited for remaining present despite narrow political space.
Political parties and their actors have never been allowed to do their work according to the laws in the Constitution.
Dr. Kasuja argues that as long as the NRM remains in power, opposition activities will continue to face restrictions, limiting their political space and influence, accusations that the NRM denies.
I doubt whether they can survive to the tune of actually overthrowing President Museveni's government using this democracy we have.
As opposition figures grapple with defections, infiltration and shrinking political space, the future of Uganda's opposition politics remains uncertain. The bigger question now is whether the opposition can survive beyond the NRM era.
More to come. Brought to you by...
Everyone knows we use Global Paint Undercoat. Now, for the best results, I continue with Global Paint's products.
Global Paint, a reliable...
When we come back, it is that quiet race, maybe not so quiet race, that is shaping out for the race for Speaker and Deputy. That's some story.
Movit Relaxer Cream, brought to you by Africa's leading hair and skin experts. I get to wear my hair like I live my life. Movit Relaxer features a moisture-locking ingredient that protects your strands for strength, length, and lasting health, however you wear it. Curly, bouncy, or straight. Movit brings a dazzling brilliance to black hair. Keep moving, keep shining. Bring your hair gold to life and embrace the extraordinary version of you. Movit, all day confidence.
New Tusker Premium Cider. Crisp, delicious apples crushed and blended to create a unique taste explosion.
Buy genuine Decra roofing tiles, the original stone-coated alu zinc steel roofing system from New Zealand. Choose from Heritage, Milano, Shingo, Shake and Classic profiles with a variety of colors and a 50-year warranty. Only available at Depot Uganda. Telephone 0776 898 888 or 0758 85.
See people from around the world. It's diverse. You will have the opportunity to experience things you've never experienced before. We have highly skilled teachers and a comfortable environment that does not pressure but eases the minds of students to help them into their future careers. Our school integrates art, culture, history, language, and performing arts such as drama, music, and dance into the academic curriculum. Work smart, succeed. Twinbrook International School.
In the
the heart of Uganda lies a place where dreams become a reality. Welcome to Zion Estates, your gateway to prime land with titles across Uganda, with estates in Mukono, Bombo, Kaga, Matuga, and many more other estates. With over 15 years of experience, you're guaranteed the best, and you can start paying in installments. All our estates are well planned. Start your journey to land ownership today. Zion Estates, your home, your prestige.
Oh, baby change.
Mommy is sick again. We need money for the hospital.
Bambi, chijakugwa. Charlie.
From your hands abroad to their hearts at home, send and receive money with Wendy in partnership with Western Union. Download the Wendy app on Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to send, receive, and pay your bills at the lowest cost.
Happy birthday to you, Mommy.
Wendy Wonawoli.
Sumuchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year?
Loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
You will always know when you're in the presence of the finest. It's like time slows down, just enough for you to feel everything in full flavor.
Just Malt Lager. Alcohol is not for sort of persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome back. You're still watching NBS Live at 9. The race for Speaker and Deputy Speaker in the next Parliament is quietly taking shape, with early contenders emerging and attention turning to the rules that govern one of the most powerful officers in the land. While the final decision will be made on the floor of Parliament, party politics, especially within the ruling NRM, are already influencing the contest.
As Uganda prepares for a new parliament, early manoeuvring has begun behind the scenes for the positions of Speaker and Deputy Speaker officers that shape the tone, discipline and direction of parliamentary business. Although no formal nominations have been made, several lawmakers have started signalling interest. Among those whose names have surfaced is Lydia Wanyoto, the former NRM chairperson, Women's League, the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, Defence Minister Jacob Oboth, and many others have been mentioned as a possible contender for the speakership. Other MPs are also positioning themselves, particularly for the Deputy Speaker's slot, though many remain cautious about declaring openly before party consultations are concluded. Among the many is Idi Basajjabalaba, son of businessman Hassan Basajjabalaba, who has openly expressed interest in the position of Deputy Speaker. According to the parliamentary rules, the election of both leaders is guided by the rules of procedure, which are clear on how the process begins. According to the rules, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker shall be elected by members of Parliament from among themselves at the first sitting of a new Parliament.
You are going to be subjected to the Code of Conduct of Parliament under Rule 91, and the Code of Conduct is Appendix G. But ordinarily, for me, I like campaigns. People should speak about themselves. These positions should be competed for.
Over the years, the ruling party has developed an informal tradition in which speakers serve no more than 2 terms, a precedent reinforced during the tenure of former Speaker Rebecca Kadaga, who served 2 consecutive terms before being replaced by the late Jacob Oulanyah.
And I think Sekandi served 2 terms, so did Kadaga. I don't know, because it's not in their constitution. It's just a culture that can be ignored, if you like. But that's a culture they have set for themselves, and it doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the parliament itself. So if NRM goes by its culture, Anita Mongo will be a speaker. But I think MP should challenge her and then try to elect another speaker, because the law provides for it.
Attention is also shifting to the deputy speakership, a position that has grown in influence. Under the rules of parliament, the deputy speaker shall perform the functions of the speaker whenever the speaker is absent, placing the office at the heart of parliamentary leadership rather than Political observers note that the outcome is likely to be shaped long before MPs cast their ballots.
Many of these things are not going to be decided by the vote, the people going there to vote. That's not going to be the expression. The vote, yes, will be there. But it is what Museveni wants, what President Museveni wants, is what will happen.
With party caucuses expected to meet ahead of the first sitting, the final choices may be settled through internal negotiations like it was during the NRM SEC meeting that endorsed the late Jacob Olanya rather than open competition on the floor of the House. For now, the race remains unofficial, quiet, cautious and deeply political.
Uganda's municipalities and cities are gearing up for elections tomorrow, with the Electoral Commission confirming voting material already dispatched. The Commission is now urging voters to come out in full force to avoid a repeat of the low turnout seen in the recent polls.
The Electoral Commission confirms that all is set for Tuesday's polls for division and municipal mayors, as well as councillors in the 42 municipalities. Julius Muchunguzi says the local council elections are key for grassroots service delivery.
Because it is at local government, at the Gomborora, at the sub-county, at the parishes, at the municipality level, at the district level, where real service delivery actually happens. The policies that are set up by government to improve household incomes, for instance, the policies that are set up to improve health, the policies that are set up to improve all manner of development take place at the local government level.
The elections in divisions, municipal and cities coincides with parliamentary polls in some constituencies that were suspended due to various circumstances. These include Chibanda North, Ibanda Municipality and Ajuri County in Alabetong. Muchunguzi, however, declined to comment on reported incidents arising from the polls, advising aggrieved parties to seek redress in court.
Any matter in the electoral process, once elections have ended, the next level of appeal is in the court. So I do not know any particulars, but people have the liberty to go to court, bring evidence, open cases there, and the courts will determine.
But as the election cycle nears the end, voter fatigue seems to have kicked in after the presidential and parliamentary polls, with turnout dipping. The Democratic Front is backing the trend and actively rallying supporters to turn up, despite some parties taking a hit.
We got powerful aftershocks, which we had not planned for. We lost elections where practically we had not lost. But scientifically, we lost because they did not declare us. And we can't pretend that we were not affected. But we are back on the road. We supported our teams in LC5 elections. We were very active.
The Democratic Party's Electoral Commission chairperson, Kennedy Mutenyo, says they are fully geared up for tomorrow's elections, having fielded candidates at all levels. DP is calling for electoral law reforms to sync these polls with others on the same day.
So here we can elect the president, woman MP, area MP, LC5 chairman, LC5 councillor, LC all on the same day. We will save the budget by about 50%. It will be one public holiday because public holidays are costly to the private sector. So at the end of the day, the solution to voter low turnout is electing on the same day.
However, police say they are on high alert, ready to clamp down on anyone causing trouble during the elections.
We shall not tolerate lawlessness, individuals planning to cause disruptions, violence, or engage in any unlawful acts are strongly warned to desist. Lawlessness will not be tolerated.
According to the Electoral Commission's 2025-2026 election roadmap, the exercise will continue until February 6th.
8 of the available 9 slots for LC5 and mayor in Acholi sub-region did not make it back, with Gulu City getting a new mayor in the names of Labeja Julius Gunyea. Why the change? We look at the changing trend of politics in the region, with one being safe after one term.
I declare Achille Julius Labeja.
From the parliamentary contest to the local government seats, Acholi sub-region has voted out more incumbents in the local government elections. In the 9 available slots, only one chairman, Ochen Sister of Lamore, made it back, with new faces taking on. Gulu City Mayor Kwon Alfred was beaten by NRM-leaning Julius Labeja Gunya. The question is, what could have happened?
We had leaders who were more of conflict scenarios. They would come and address the challenges of the conflict. But now we are in a post-conflict era whereby we need to address the post-conflict recovery agenda, reparations, economic empowerment. We have elected the people that we see will really give us services.
According to those who understand the changing political dynamics, the election was beyond campaigns, but an experience that will live on.
A section of the population that despised me and regarded me as some sort of a comedian, some sort of a newcomer, some sort of all kinds of things. Benson, I am driven by challenges. And the more you challenge me, the more I put my foot on the ground.
This victory was delayed, but finally it has come. It comes with a lot of challenges, expectation from the voters, and of course the dream and vision that you have for your people.
Senior lawyer Thomas Lapiem says elections are now about became indisciplined to the point of writing for withdrawal of the flag. He says some candidates could not be redeemed.
One of such a cases is what happened in Gulu City with the city mayor. The city mayor, Alfred Okwon, at the beginning was even hoping to return the party card because he was planning to go and contest as a member of parliament for Laropeche division. He even wrote to me, I received his letter asking that he should return the flag for mayorship. He's not willing to contest as a mayor. So when the party members realized there was going to be a vacuum, they went and looked for somebody called Labeja Julius Gunya. And he came and defeated Okwon.
The Indian community in Uganda has marked the 77th Republic Day in Kampala, underscoring the significance of the day that now extends far beyond India's borders. The Indian High Commissioner to Uganda, Upender Singh Rawat, says the Republic Day symbolizes national sovereignty, democratic ideals, and the enduring promise of equality values that resonated well with audiences far from New Delhi.
India's 77th Republic Day is more than just a date on the calendar, but it's a reminder of the moment a nation chose to govern itself through a constitution founded on democracy, equality, and justice in 1915. Celebrated annually on January 26th, the day marks India's transformation from a newly independent country into a sovereign republic guided by the will of its people.
Coming to the Republic Day, India's constitution, the work on it was started even before we got independence. And actually, India's constitution was ready on 26 November 1949. But we did not start it on that day because during the freedom struggle days when we were trying to get out of colonization by the UK, 26 January was a special day when in 1930 the Mahatma Gandhi he had a call that India should come out of colonialism.
The sentiment was echoed by members of the Indian Association in Uganda. Many of whom have lived in Uganda for generations. They emphasize that Indians in Uganda see themselves as an integral part of the Ugandan social and economic fabric, raising families, running businesses, creating jobs and reinvesting in local community.
And we don't only contribute in a social side, but if you look at the business side, we have our business forum, we have a medical forum. Indian citizens or Indian origin, they are contributing significantly to the Uganda's economy. If we talk about the population of Indians living in Uganda, less than 1%, but we contribute 65% of the tax revenue of this country.
Several speakers cited tangible examples of this bond, including medical initiatives that have enabled more than 200 Ugandans to travel to India for life-saving and specialized surgeries, often facilitated through community networks and partnerships within the Indian fraternity.
We have done 240 children's heart surgery, Ugandan children's who went to India, and it's not only giving them back life, but giving those family a hope and happiness. We work on blood collection. We have collected over 65,000 units of blood. We are doing work in education and medical sectors. We are running school in Jinja, Hoima, in Kampala. The oldest school of Kampala is run by one of our temple body. We are doing medical activities, medical camp for the artificial limbs distribution for lame children, many other activities. We have a scholarship program under Indian Association.
With more than 200 Indians in attendance at the Embassy of India, the celebration served as a powerful reminder that Republic Day lives wherever Indians uphold their values.
The United States and Nigeria are facing growing scrutiny over the surprise U.S. airstrikes targeted suspected Islamist militants in northwestern Nigeria, with conflicting official accounts raising questions over and about sovereignty, civilian impact, and the true objectives of the operation. Meanwhile, Southern Africa is grappling with a deepening humanitarian crisis as regional emergency teams deployed to flood-ravaged Mozambique, where thousands have been displaced and health services disrupted.
Uncertainty continues to surround U.S. airstrikes carried out in Nigeria's northwestern Sokoto state, as Washington and Abuja provide firing accounts of what was targeted. Both governments say the strikes hit Islamic State-linked militants, but for nearly 24 hours, neither side offered clear details on which armed groups were struck or who was killed. Nigeria later said two Islamic State enclaves in Tangaza district were targeted, adding that debris from the strikes damaged nearby communities. U.S. President Donald Trump claimed credit for the operation, saying he delayed it to launch on Christmas Day, remarks that triggered backlash in Nigeria and renewed concerns over sovereignty. Nigeria's government insists the strikes were jointly approved with Nigerian intelligence support, but opposition figures accuse authorities of allowing Washington to control the narrative. Analysts say the choice to strike the northwest rather than the jihadist strongholds in the northeast has only deepened questions about whether the operation was driven more by symbolism than security. Meanwhile, a regional emergency team has arrived in Mozambique as severe flooding leaves hundreds of thousands displaced and critical infrastructure destroyed. The Southern African Development Community, SADC, has deployed specialists in logistics, search and rescue, public health, and coordination to reinforce national response efforts after weeks of heavy rain and dam releases. More than 700,000 people have been affected nationwide, over half of them being children. Gaza province is the worst hit, with nearly 392,000 people impacted. At least 12 deaths have been confirmed across Gaza, Maputo and Sofala provinces. The World Health Organization says flooding has damaged or destroyed at least 44 health facilities, severely limiting access to care for displaced communities. Tens of thousands now face interruptions to essential and long-term medical treatment. Humanitarian agencies warn that the loss of crops, contaminated water and overcrowded shelters are increasing the risk of hunger and waterborne diseases, including cholera, as relief teams race to prevent a wider crisis.
And now let's take a look at your feedback on our opinion question. And the question tonight is, what kind of qualities should the next Speaker of Parliament possess? That's hashtag NBS Live at 9. First comment coming in from Wakai and Ali says he or she should be neutral to all members of Parliament, irrespective of their parties, and at least with a degree in law. Okay, that's I'm not sure that's provided for in the rules of procedure. But Mutiwa says patriotic, speak of the country, not the party. All right. And now social spotlight. President Yoweri Museveni says, today I presided over the NRA victory 40th anniversary at Kolo Independence Ground. Since 1986, Uganda has gone through 5 phases of economic recovery, starting with restoring stability and followed by diversification and value addition. Today, we are firmly in the knowledge economy, with growth anchored in agriculture, manufacturing, services, and the emerging oil and gas sector. Manufacturing now supplies about 65% of goods in our supermarkets. Agriculture and services continue to create wealth. Cheetah vehicles are on the roads, and oil production near Lake Albert begins this year. While I received 8 million votes, many supporters did not turn up due to intimidation, violence, and internal discipline. These issues must be addressed so participation improves, stability is maintained, and every Ugandan is fully involved in our country's transformation.
You will always know when you're in the presence of the finest. It's like time slows down, just enough for you to feel everything in full flavor.
Just Kamut Lager. Alcohol is not for certain persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
Be classic by turning every wash into freshness with Classic Detergent Powder, the high-performance washing solution for all your laundry needs. Toughest on stains, gentle on your hands, and keeps your clothes looking fresh and bright. Enjoy the long-lasting freshness of lavender and lily fragrances. Classic Detergent Powder is affordably priced, giving you unbeatable quality at a price you will love. Customer formulungi, bera mu class ngokozesa sabuni wafe owobuwunga Classic. Genda kuduka lyonneri kulyo kompi oba supermarket osabe Classic Detergent Powder. Classic Detergent Powder, experience a burst of freshness. Distributed by Chopper General Enterprises, located at shop number 3, Rafik Building, Chikovo, Kampala.
Are you planning an event or wedding? Join us at Nikan Resort Hotel, Uganda. Relaxing accommodation rooms, well-equipped conference halls and boardrooms. Don't miss this fantastic opportunity to experience the best of hospitality and sufficient space. We're located in Seguku Katale, along Entebbe Kampala Road, channeling easy access to Kampala City and the airport. For reservations and inquiries, contact using the information on your screen or visit our website www.nikanresort.com.
You see, see, I've been a painter for almost 4 decades, and I have found Global Paints to be very reliable. First, everyone knows we use Global Paint undercoat. Now, for the best results, I continue with Global Paints products. I go for silk vinyl when it comes to the interior. Then Global Matte for the ceiling, and when it comes to weatherproof, I go for Global Weather Coat Emulsion. With that one, the house will never peel. Now, there you have a sparkling, magical looking house. And then the client is very happy. He recommends me to another person, who recommends me to another person, who recommended me to come and do the advert.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
Today, we choose our future. We choose peace. Let's protect our home from violence. Differing choices are part of democracy. Every voice matters. Every vote is for our shared country. Trust in the process and the electoral bodies. Let's vote with our hearts and minds, without provocation and intimidation. This is home. Let's keep it safe. Let's talk peace.
This PDM is to get all of you out of poverty. That's why we said 100 million per parish per year.
The parish development model is designed to eradicate poverty by providing the support necessary for financial independence.
We have seen how 1 million, how much 1 million can do. The whole of Uganda is very rich. So what you call poverty is actually ignorance. We need everybody to come up.
Let us all take advantage of the conducive prevailing atmosphere of political stability, peace and security to ensure that all our people come out of poverty.
And I've told the banks to stop deducting from the 1 million. You must get the 1 million full. The government is the one which will pay the bank charges.
Now the number of stools in this Matoke enterprise are 1,000. They are on 1 acre. And we harvest 17 bunches every day. The money that we get from this Matoke, after selling each bunch at 15,000 shillings, for the whole year, we get 91.9 million shillings. So I want to encourage all the people of Teso also to change the mindset and adopt to new crops which were not traditionally grown here.
We emphasize 2 words, wealth and jobs. This PDM is to get all of you out of poverty.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
In business tonight, Uganda's economy has increased to $61.36 billion. That's about 221 trillion shillings from a small $3.52 billion in 1986, with the GDP per capita hitting $1,278 and topping the 1,136 threshold for lower middle income status. But economists are warning that the country's swelling debt and interest payments could eat up anticipated oil revenue, which is going to be key to Uganda's growth plans.
From the bushes, the NRM government found the Ugandan economy at $3.52 billion.
The current government took over a country and an economy in ruins. Inflation had reached 358.4% in December 1986.
Managers of the Ugandan economy emphasize that the economy has grown by leaps and bounds. As a result, sectors like the financial, manufacturing, mining, among others, have equally grown.
In 1986, Uganda had only 8 banks. I've told you now there are 31. And then those banks had less than 200 branches, located only in major towns. There were no forex bureaus, there were no money remitters, there were no payment system operators.
By June 2025, the Ugandan economy was at $61.36 billion, about 221 trillion shillings. The GDP per person is at $1,278, way about the $1,136 required for lower middle income status. The Minister of Finance believes that all indicators favor its tenfold growth strategy. Economist Stephen Kaboyo says that it is possible with the oil revenues expected sooner than later.
I think the oil story is quite interesting because it puts Uganda at a very solid path of transformation of the economy. When you consider the revenues expected, $2 billion come this year. That's quite heavy, quite a bit of inflow. So it will change a lot of things.
However, the executive director of the Civil Society Budget Advocacy Group, Julius Mukunda, insists the soaring public debt now at 116 trillion shillings and interest payments nearly quarter of the government revenue and may limit funds for public services meant to facilitate the growth.
Why then don't we reduce on public administration and spend more on agriculture than reducing agriculture financing?
While Finance insists that the dream to grow Uganda's economy to $500 billion by 2040 is achievable, economists say that some things must be done right.
If the revenues are managed well, if we have our act together, this could be the driver that will complement all other efforts of driving the tenfold growth that government is.
As long as we do not force compliance, nothing is going to go right. So for NDP to be implemented, there must be compliance. There must be consequences of deviation from the plan.
The Ugandan shilling has been defined as the best performing currency against the US dollar, and hopes are high that it remains stable to support the export trade. As Uganda chases a promise of tenfold expansion, questions remain on the comprehensive country's plan to employ its young people, power generation plans, and the readiness to catch up with the latest technology trends in the first world countries.
Justice is the foundation of a fair society. This Monday on Spotlight UG, we examine how accessible is justice for every Ugandan. What reforms are shaping prosecution, accountability, and the rule of law. Under the theme, Justice for All, Access to Prosecution and Legal Reform. Join leaders from the Judicial Service Commission, the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, and the
lifetime, cross the equator and discover Pineapple Bay Resort. Enjoy exceptional life's luxuries. Spend quality time with family, friends, or even that special someone. Get in touch with nature with our range of outdoor activities. The calming tranquility of water, breathtaking views, moving memories around campfires. It's all here. Plus, a club experience like no other at Pineapple Bay Clubhouse. It's a whole vibe. You can hire any of our 3 VIP cruise boats for groups of 10, 14, or 25 people. Or you can cruise out with swag on a luxury yacht for 12 people. Our premium boats are all safety compliant. Make your next vacay an all-round experience at Pineapple Bay, located on Bulago Island, right in the midst of Lake Victoria. Talk to us today.
Hey, Hey travelers, are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom! Instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel eSIM today at travel.roguetelcom.co.ug. Contact us on 020-5000123.
Happy Liberation Day. And well, for us, that's it here on NBS Live at 9. Up next, of course, Mildred will be taking us through a conversation on UG Spotlight. Mildred, speak to us. What should we expect tonight?
Well, thank you very much, Canary and Samson, wearing, they call them presidential shirts, right? Okay. I know where that is leading, but thank you, gentlemen, for giving us what's happening on NBS Live at 9 tonight on Spotlight. Our conversation